As we had defined in a previous video about using your environment in self-defense, concealment is an object which can hide you. When Jeremy walks behind the truck, you'll notice his feet will disappear behind the wheel, but you can still see his head. If he were to duck, he would be concealed. When he passes the tinted window, his head disappears. This may be a good vantage point to see through while remaining concealed, except for the fact that you can still see his feet. Here's a couple of tips that could help you hide better. The first thing to remember is to not hug your cover. By standing a step or two back, you will change the geometry for the person looking for you. See his feet disappear? The second thing is to keep your head down, making you a smaller target. If you need to take a peek, look from the side, not over the top. Cover is concealment that can also protect you from bullets. With a car, some parts may offer temporary cover. For instance, windows can deflect a bullet's path, but once shattered, become ineffective. Car doors could stop a low-caliber bullet, but offer little resistance against rifle rounds. The parts of the car with the largest density of metal would be behind the wheels, and especially behind the engine block. Awareness is always your best self-defense tool. As you approach the car, be aware of objects that a ninja could hide behind, like a dumpster or a bush. One trick that has been used by criminals in the past is to park a large vehicle like a van between the store and your car, which keeps anyone inside the store from seeing what's happening near your vehicle. Make sure to check both sides of the car. Look, there's a ninja right there. Once you're sure both sides are clear, make sure to walk around and check the front of the vehicle. If you see anything suspicious, walk back to the store and get help. If you are hyper-focused on loading your car and not paying attention to what's around you, someone can sneak up behind without you knowing it. Instead, keep your head up while you approach the vehicle and scan for danger. If you're loading groceries or putting baby in a car seat, break down the job into steps, stopping periodically to look around. Another common point of ambush is getting into the car. First of all, you're stuck between the door and the car with nowhere to go. Secondly, if you're getting in head and feet first like most people, you're vulnerable to attack from behind. Again, approach the vehicle with your head up and scan the area for danger. Place your back against the car to prevent someone from coming up behind you. Once you have the door open, sit in butt first. This will allow you to see someone trying to ambush you. Don't bump your head on the door frame as you sit back. Move your head to the corner while you swing your legs into the car, then immediately close and lock all of your doors.
Now that you're in your car and the doors are locked, we really only have to worry about attackers from outside the vehicle. There's special instances, like I know there are some families that have concern of children in the car. Sometimes they get violent. If you're a transit driver, like a taxi, Uber driver, Lyft driver, or if you've just picked up a hitchhiker, which you shouldn't be doing, but that special self-defense scenario, we're going to talk about that in another video. So main thing I have to worry about here is making sure that as I was getting in my car, I was aware of what's around me. But now that I'm here, I shouldn't be spending a lot of time playing with my phone. If I need to set up my sat nav on my dashboard, I can take some time to do that, but same thing as getting in my car. I want to be aware of what's happening around me. If somebody's approaching my car, I want to know where they're coming from. If they're coming up on my passenger side, they're further away from me. And there's places like this post right here that they could hide behind. But really where they're a bigger danger is when they come up on my driver's side. So that's where we want to talk about a lot of our self-defense right here. Now, if it's a police officer approaching your vehicle, first thing to keep in mind is they are human just like you, and they're trying to do a very difficult job. In fact, a very important job where they're trying to keep the public safe, and their life is in danger when they're out there on the job. So the more respectful you can be, the easier you can make their job, that better that interaction. You know, I found a lot of times I've had decreased tickets, or a lot of time gotten off with a warning because I've been very respectful in the way that I've handled things. Certain things like making sure that you're keeping your hands where the police officer can see them. If you need to get something like your registration out of the glove box, tell them, I need to get that out of my glove box, and let them see your hand while you reach for it. Be very obvious with it. And having, you know, of course, respect and calling them sir or ma'am, and being polite definitely does not hurt the situation. When I'm dealing with attackers from outside my vehicle, I do have to worry about people attacking me from my passenger side. Although it's a little bit more difficult, from way over there, it's harder to strike me or grab me. What I really have to be concerned about is this driver's side. If they're attacking me from here, very easily they could hit me, and I can't really strike back. Anything I put out that window is in danger. They could try to pull me out or hurt me even worse right there. The other thing is they can very easily grab me from this position, or grab my steering wheel, or try to take my keys. So the first thing I would suggest is I don't have to deal with anybody outside my vehicle with my window all the way down. When I first got in my car, my windows should be all the way up. My door should already be locked. Now, if somebody's approaching my vehicle and I need to talk to them, I can put my window about halfway down, and then from there I can still talk to him. But if he needs to try to strike me, there's a much smaller window for him to get through. If he tries to grab something, I can have more control from here. So we're going to get into some more self-defense techniques from that. But if this is a police officer, same thing. We can hand information back and forth. We can communicate just fine from here. But if he does ask me to put my window down, of course, I want to comply with that. The next thing we want to talk about is somebody striking you from outside your vehicle. We already mentioned this, very easy for him to strike in. I don't have any power or leverage for striking out, so I'm going to have to worry about covering up as those strikes are coming in to limit the damage. So I'll show you that cover from this side. My hand's going on the back of my head, and then my forearm goes right along the side of my head. It acts just like a bumper. So now while he's striking me with my free hand, I can be reaching over and getting this window up. He can still try to strike me. He's going to hit that window a bunch, which is a very tough window. You can go on YouTube and find any number of videos of even reporters trying to show how you can break into a car, taking a hammer to that window, and it's not breaking. So once I'm at that point with my window up, I can now use that hand to engage my engine, put my transmission in gear, and get out of there. When somebody's grabbing you from outside the vehicle, the danger is they're going to try to take you out of your vehicle. So you can see he's reaching in, trying to find my door locks. If he's trying to pull me out, he might get me pinned against the car and then trying to reach in for the door lock, and then he's going to get me all the way out, and then I'm going to be in big trouble, especially if he's got friends. Here's how you're going to deal with that. As soon as they reach in and grab you, you got to deal with it before they try to pull you out. So in this case, I'm going for this arm that's closest to me. As he even starts to pull me, I want to catch onto that. I'm going to use both arms and pull that inside the vehicle. I'd rather pull him in than him pull me out. You can see this puts him in a very uncomfortable position. Even if he ducks his head under and starts coming in with me, I can now start leaning him forward just like this. And I'm using my shoulder to pin him in there. Now, while I do that, I can actually hold on with this one hand. My other hand can be going for the ignition, putting the transmission in gear, and then I can start driving and then let him go and get him out of my car. Or I can drag him, I don't know. He's hurt, he's trying to reach in and do me damage, so I shouldn't be too worried about his safety. Now he's reached in and grabbed my steering wheel. You can see he's still trying to find my door lock. So from here, all I want to do is I want to grab on with my hand right on his wrist, and I'm going to push his hand right back toward my window. You can see that was the open side of his grip, so as he's holding onto it, makes it very easy to push it away, and I'm very strong in that direction. So I got that pinned up there. I can be using my other hand to start the car, put it in gear, and get out of there. Now he's reached in and grabbed my steering wheel with his right hand. So the first thing I want to do is secure it, and then with my other hand, I'm going to make a knuckle fist, and I'm going to strike that right in the back of his hand, right up against the steering wheel. This is going to help loosen up that grip, because then I'm going to grab with both hands, I'm going to pull that into me and pull him into the car. If I can get his head pinned, or if he starts to come in, this is fine. I'm going to just be leaning in, using this. It's very difficult for him to use that hand. I can use some strikes from right here now that I have some control, and then I can start the car, put it in gear, and start dragging him down the road before I let him go. A lot of people talk about having self-defense weapons in their vehicle, and the first thing I want to mention about that is if you're outside your vehicle, you come to your vehicle to retrieve that weapon, and then you go out and use it, that can be considered premeditated. If you're going to your car, you might as well get in and just leave the situation. Then you don't have anything to worry about. However, if you're already in your car and you're being attacked, we wanted to talk about some of these weapons. The first self-defense weapon I wanted to talk about is, since we live in Oregon, the firearm. People say, oh yeah, I keep a gun in my car to keep me safe. So first of all, you do want to check with your local and state laws on if you can legally have a loaded weapon in your car. You might have to have licenses in some state to be able to do that. But realistically, there's really only a couple ways I can hold this gun to effectively be able to fire it. If I'm trying to shoot out here, this gun's right in front of me. This is not the optimal place to have a gun firing off. And I don't want to be shooting out my windshield because then I can't see. It's all going to spiderweb. The other thing is I have this weapon and firing it in my car, it's very loud. Now all that sound is going to be compressed in here. Not to say that you couldn't use it if you absolutely had to, it just wouldn't be optimal. Now obviously a weapon like a baseball bat is not going to be very effective in my vehicle. I'm not going to be able to swing it around if I could actually get a hold of it. If I get pulled over and a police officer finds a baseball bat but there's no other baseball equipment like a ball and a glove, then I can be in trouble because that is actually a weapon. Something like a baton, an extendable baton, could be useful. I can't really extend it very easily in this car. I can use it for blocking, I can use it for striking in a number of different ways if he's trying to grab my steering wheel. So this can be effective if I use it the right way. Again, you have to be careful about your state laws and if these types of weapons are allowed in your vehicle. Now the knife. Again, the knife can be considered premeditated if you use it in self-defense. However, for me, a knife in my vehicle means that I can cut my strap if I need to get out of my car and my seatbelt won't come out. Some knives have that special point on the back that's used for breaking windows. If you want to break your car window to get out, you want to make sure you're striking in one of the corners, not in the middle, but you strike one of the corners and the whole window should shatter. You do need that fine point in order to make that happen though. Things like pepper spray could be useful, but I want to keep in mind if I'm spraying it inside my car, everybody in the car is going to get contaminated. I could try to spray it out the window, but there's a chance it could come back in the window at me, so probably still not the best option. Now that leaves us with improvised weapons. If you haven't seen our video on improvised weapons, make sure you go back and watch that. Shows a bunch of interesting ways on how to hold the weapon, how to use it. In this case, when he reaches in and grabs my steering wheel, I can grab my pen and stab that right into his hand. I mean, this can be much more effective than trying to use my knuckle. If he's got me, I want to be careful. I don't want to stab myself. So instead, I might be using my flashlight. And I can use that flashlight the same way. I can smash his hand, I can smash his thumb, I can smash on his arm. I can even hold it another way and smash right into his face. These types of things I'm going to be using to distract him. If I can get him in my car when we're doing this first one, I can have my cell phone, give him a good slam that way. But either way, I need to eventually be getting this hand free so I can start my car, get it into gear, and get out of there. Ultimately, the goal is not to stay here, but we've got to get away to safety. So being comfortable with things like how to operate your vehicle, turning the engine on, how do you put it into gear, you need to be really comfortable with that. Defensive driving like quick turns or even driving backwards. You know, it's amazing. Everybody can go forwards, but a lot of people have a hard time driving backwards. Using mirrors, looking over the shoulder. Sometimes you have a backup camera. You can use all of these things to help you. So if you go to an open parking lot, if you're not comfortable with these types of skills, put some cones out and practice that driving. In conclusion, I'd just like to point out again, you're best off if you stay inside your vehicle. It's cover from attacks. It's a self-defense weapon. I see a lot of these self-defense situations where somebody gets in front of the car and the driver stops. If that person's threatening me, I don't need to worry about their safety. If I need to get out of here, I'm going to go through them if I have to. The exception to that rule is if the attacker's already entered my vehicle. If that's happened, I need to get out of my vehicle as quickly as I can. I don't want them to take me to an alternate location. So I need to get my keys out and I need to exit the vehicle. If I can't get my keys out, I'll leave them, just get out of the vehicle. Your life is more important than the car, even if it's a Tesla.